So I'm here to defend Raphinha and Ansu Fati. A lot has been going on regarding Ansu Fati and Raphinha, mainly because we know that Barcelona do need exits. And when we talk about Barcelona's exits, we do talk about Raphinha and Ansu Fati. These two players are not supported enough, and it is coming from the lack of impact that Raphinha and Ansu Fati supposedly do have. But here's the thing, right? I know that many do say that Raphinha is not a Dembele type of player, and with Ansu Fati, he's never available, and when he is, he never shows up. I want to change the narrative on all of this because I do think that there is a very big agenda with these two players, and that the media is only hating on Raphinha and Ansu Fati only because that's like the thing that people are supposed to do, when that's really not the case. Whatever has been said about these two players is not really real if you actually look at the stats, and we are going to be talking about all of that in this video. So I think that right now we are in a time where Raphinha and Ansu Fati are gearing up. They're gearing up towards having a remarkable season in the upcoming season. I strongly think that Ansu and Raphinha do have a lot to play for, and they are going to be seeing Barcelona go through some struggles in the upcoming season, and that is where Ansu and Raphinha can rise to the occasion. They have the type of characteristics to make that happen because of their mentality. So let's talk about Raphinha first, because it does say here that there is offers coming from Saudi Arabia and they want to buy Raphinha at a very high price. This is according to Ben Ayad. Now, Roger Torreo, another journalist coming from Spain, has also claimed that even though Raphinha said he wants to stay at Barcelona, no door was closed either by the player or by the club. Al Hilal, which is the club from Saudi Arabia, are strongly very interested. And so, like I've said, when we hear stuff like this, when we hear that Barcelona can receive a very big offer for Raphinha, he can be sold for maybe like 80-90 million euros, and then you combine that with how Raphinha performed last season, according to the people, many are saying Raphinha is the player to leave. He should be the player to leave and be that big exit, that big sell, so we can invite other players. Now, we have no idea how much Saudi Arabia wants to offer to Barcelona, but one thing is for sure, Saudi Arabia was very keen on paying a total of 1 billion euros in wages for Messi. There's a club in Saudi Arabia that are willing to offer 50 million euros for Kessie. We know also that Benzema went to Saudi Arabia, where they're going to be paying him a total of 643 million euros within a span of 3 years. We know that Ronaldo went to Saudi Arabia also, where he is going to be paid 220 million euros for a total of 2 years. And so you can see that they have cash in terms of how much they want to pay for a transfer fee and how much they're willing to spend in wages. They have a lot of cash in the end. So if you look at these big numbers, we can safely assume that yes, Barcelona could receive a very big offer for Raphinha because of how much money Saudi Arabia actually has. And so when you see Raphinha's age and you look at his numbers that he brought with Barcelona last season and his contract length, I can see Saudi Arabia offering Barcelona like 130 million euros to like 140 million euros only because they can. Even though I don't think that he's really worth that much compared to his real market value, it's just that, you know, Saudi Arabia are always willing to just overpay, mainly because we know that this is a country that wants to promote good football, and they're doing that because they want to win the World Cup auction in 2030, which is why they're so willing to invest heavily and overpay so much for players, even though we know deep down they're not really worth that much. So even though this would be a very good sell, I would still stay with Raphinha. I think that Barcelona should be working with this player because of what he brings. And this is where I do want to back this player, because I think that if you really look at his numbers and what he actually has done, he's a player that Barcelona do need because, again, of his numbers, his goals and assists, and his work ethic. And so if we look at his numbers from the previous season, you can see that in La Liga, he has played a total of 83 minutes, had 25 starts, and was involved in 36 games. Within those 36 games of La Liga, he scored 7 goals and provided 7 assists. I'm not going to be reading the full stats. You guys can read the other ones like the passes and the shots on target. I'm just going to be focusing on the goals and the assists. If we look at the European numbers, he played a total of 298 minutes, had 6 starts, and was involved in 7 games. And in those 7 games, he scored 1 goal and provided 3 assists. If we move on towards the Copa del Rey, he played 286 minutes, had 3 starts, and was involved in 5 games. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. These numbers are not that bad. And to put this into greater context, David Villa's first season at Barcelona, he was involved in 30 goals. Alexis Sanchez, he was involved in 20 goals within his first season. With Neymar's first season, he was also involved in 30 goals. And with Dembele's first season at Barcelona, he was involved in 12 goals. If you rank these 5 players while including Raphinha, Raphinha is just below David Villa and Neymar. And keep in mind, David Villa was involved in the best team in history. Neymar was also involved in the best team in history. Raphinha is involved in a team where they are rebuilding. And so these are very good numbers. And Raphinha has beaten Alexis Sanchez's first year. He has beaten Dembele's first year. So I do think that if Xavi really nails his second full season and he has his engine running very well, I think think that Raphinha can be phenomenal and maybe even get to a point where he is contributing in a total of 30 to 35 goals, whether that's coming through all goals or all assists. I think that Raphinha has a lot to give. And I think that if he wants to further his chances of showing what he's capable of, he needs to adapt fully on playing on the left wing. As hard as this does sound, I think that Raphinha can do it. Like in the beginning, he wasn't really great as a left winger. As a right winger, he was great, but when you placed him on the left, he did not really show the same characteristics or enthusiasms, or he wasn't that lethal. But if you look at his last 3 months at Barcelona, there were times where he was playing as a left winger and he played better. He was really improving, and you can see that he was working on playing and adapting on the left flank. There was a game where Barcelona did win against Getafe 1-0, and we only scored 1 goal on that night, and the only player that did give out an assist that night was Raphinha, and from the left wing. If you look at the video, you can see just how smart he is in terms of where he needs to position himself, and he was fully ready on anticipating for that ball, and that is why he was able to react quickly, punish the defense, provide that assist, and it led towards Pedri scoring the goal. So he has enough football IQ and enough anticipation to really adapt anywhere. Now ideally we would want him on the right wing, but I think that he can't play on both flanks, which is why I do think that he is going to be a very important player for Xavi Hernandez next season. And so as we move on towards the next topic and we talk about Ansu Fati, it says here according to Mundo Deportivo that Ansu Fati has followed a specific physical plan during the holidays to try and return to his best level, especially working on his strength. He continues to believe that he can do well at FC Barcelona. It has also been official that Ansu Fati is back and he has returned from vacation. He cut his vacation short and he is already training at the gym. He's also already training with Xavi Hernandez, working on tactics, working on his role. He's very determined to succeed. And about a week ago, Joan Laporta even spoke about Ansu Fati highly, and this is what he said: "I see Ansu Fati's future here at Barcelona. He wants to win here. He's a goal scorer and he wants to continue in our club." And so again, like I've said, many were also saying that Ansu Fati should be the big sell of the summer. We should sell him for 90 million euros, 110 million euros. But if Joan Laporta is saying that his future is here at Barcelona, we should believe him. Sport has also claimed that Barcelona have taken Ansu Fati off the market and that he will stay. I just feel like Xavi Hernandez has full confidence on Ansu now. Maybe we could start seeing the best from Ansu. I think that the best season that he has had so far was probably in the 2019-2020 season, where he really did look lethal in all areas. I think that we're going to be seeing that Ansu Fati back. And I've already repeated this multiple times. I think that whatever we're seeing with Ansu Fati in this summer and what we will be seeing in the upcoming season is going to be very similar to the story of Frankie when we wanted Frankie out. When Barcelona were trying to force Frankie out to Manchester United, but Frankie stayed and he said, "Hey, look, I know that I was performing below my level. I know that I have not been good enough, but I can perform better. I can become better." And he showed that in the season that we have just finished. And so the same thing is going to be happening with Ansu. I think that he has that determination. So I'm very curious on Xavi's plans and how he's going to be incorporating Ansu. Could we see a front three of Ansu on the left, Lewandowski as a striker, and Dembele on the right wing, or are we going to continue to see a front three of Gavi, Lewandowski, and Dembele, where Gavi inverts himself and joins the midfield? I think that at the moment, I'm just going to be assuming that Xavi's going for a front three of Gavi, Lewandowski, and Dembele, with Gavi going into the midfield, mainly because I just think that right now Ansu Fati does need to prove himself, and the only way I could see Xavi getting away from the four-man box in the midfield would be for Ansu Fati to show a humongous level. That's the only way I could see that four-man midfield being broken, is by Ansu Fati being just superb and scoring about a goal a game, which he's very capable to do that. Like, he's very capable to score about a goal a game. Like, we can talk about Ansu Fati being good in the air, being a great dribbler, being a great defender or whatever, but I think that the main and best trait Ansu has is scoring goals, and he will always be known for that. And if Ansu can score the goals and he provides a goal a game from the start of the season, then yes, we could see that four-man midfield being broken and we see a front three of Ansu, Lewandowski, and Dembele. So we'll see how things do turn out, but everything is starting to seem very good for Ansu, and I hope that he does very well. That's going to be wrapping up today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one.